All right, everybody, so welcome back to another episode of Colton Posey Fishing. Today we're going to be talking about offshore bass fishing during the summer. Now, this can be a great time to be offshore and stuff. There's a few things that you really need to know before you jump offshore that will just maximize your catch ratio while you're offshore, because at times it can be very difficult to catch these fish offshore or shallow, especially with boat traffic, tournament pressure, all that different stuff. There's a lot of scenarios that come into play, but I'm going to break it all down for you real quick, easy and simple. So stay tuned. This is something you don't want to miss. All right, guys, so you know what's up. If the video helps you at all, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. I got you covered every week when it comes to bass fishing. If you ever have any questions, comment down below, or if you just want to talk fishing, I love hearing from you guys. All right, so one of the first things that I want to talk about, this is probably the number1 mistake I see a lot of anglers make when they're offshore fishing, whether that's with crankbaits, minnow style baits, top water, it doesn't really matter. This is probably the worst mistake you can make, and that is boat positioning. Okay, so you need to pay real close attention to how you position your boat. If you have an east wind, then you want to position the nose of your boat into that east wind. So you want your boat on the west side of like a point that you're fishing, and you want to be throwing into the wind. That wind creates a type of current close to the surface of the water, and it's typically going to dictate which way the fish are facing and which way the bait fish and stuff are going to move. Number 2, watch the sun. And what do I mean by that? I don't mean just sit up and stare at the sun, okay? A lot of times on these clear water lakes, if you're fishing on a very clear water fishery, you typically, if you're fishing a point, one of the biggest things that I've noticed over the years, I don't want my shadow of my boat casting over an area, especially come mid to late summer, because these fish are highly pressured. They see that stuff and they'll just move out or scatter, and they become really difficult to catch. So best case scenario is the sun is at your face, where your shadow is casting away from the point, okay? Or, you know, whatever type of structure you're fishing. But that is one small detail that I don't see a whole lot of anglers pay attention to on clear water lakes. Now, another one is bait choice, okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with throwing a big plug during the summer, okay? I love throwing deep diving crankbaits, whether that's 5XDs, 6XDs, DT20s, all the way up to your 10XDs. But sometimes these fish get so pressured, especially over the weekend, that they want something small. They need something finessey. So downsizing your equipment. If you're used to throwing a 6-inch swim bait, try throwing a 3 or 4-inch swim bait. Also, speed kills during the summer. So one of the biggest things you can do is speed those baits up. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When I'm running those swim baits, I'm burning those swim baits. When I'm running those spinner baits, I'm burning those spinner baits. When I'm throwing those crankbaits or rattle traps or whatever the case may be, those hard style baits, I'm integrating pauses, very short pauses, and I'm reeling those baits or moving those baits, popping those baits very quickly. Same with my top water. All of us in the sport of bass fishing are always looking for something to give us that edge, where it help us catch more fish, stuff like that, but we also want to do it in an affordable way, right? So one of the biggest companies I can tell you about right now is Vantage Tackle, okay? Vantage Tackle is an online retail site. Basically what he does is he sells custom built baits that are made from here in the US, from regular people like me and you, who just love the sport of bass fishing. Hand quality care goes into every single bait. I can guarantee it, because I've used just about everything that they got. But you know, we're talking hand-tied chatter baits, spinner baits, crank baits, soft plastics, anything you can imagine. If you purchase anything over $100, you get free shipping. But also, if you want to save some money, use Colton25. You'll get 10% off. Helps me out a whole lot, helps those guys out a whole lot. Make sure to check me out at Colton Posey Fishing. And the final thing that I want to talk about is one of the easiest ones to do, because you don't need sonar, you don't need really anything to understand that fish live in this area. When you're looking at your points and your channel swings and boat docks or whatever you may be fishing, look for the shadiest areas. The shadiest areas are typically where those fish are going to be during the summer. It makes them very predictable. Now, that doesn't mean the shadiest part on all 500 boat docks on a stretch is going to have a fish on it, but what that does mean is out of those 500, 30 probably will. So moving your baits quickly and getting your baits in those correct spots multiple times throughout a day will increase your bite and your catch ratio. So guys, that's a short, quick, simple, easy thing to keep in mind when you're fishing this summer. Speed, wind, the sunlight. If you're fishing a clear water lake, sun is going to be a big key. Believe it or not, it really will be. Size of the baits that you're throwing, all of it, the presentation, the whole 9 yards. But I know it seems kind of like it's simple, but there's a lot to take in at the same time. But if you go out and practice these each time that you go out this summer, I promise summer will be your favorite time to fish also. So either way, guys, if the video helps you at all, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out a ton. Subscribe down below. I got you covered when it comes to anything bass fishing. Also comment if you ever have any questions, anything you want to add, or you just want to talk fishing. I love hearing from you guys. I'll see you next time.